Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and it's time for my weekly comic review. Okay, starting off with Marvel, we have Young Avengers number 2. Pretty much starts off the morning the last issue left off, which is Billy and Teddy waking up, and Teddy's mom, who has been brought back to life, is making breakfast for Billy, Teddy, and Billy's parents. But then suddenly, Teddy's mom starts scolding Teddy for going out as a superhero and also being in a relationship with Billy, and then, Billy starts to sense something's up, and right when he's about to send her back, she attacks him, and also Billy's parents are just mindlessly obeying her. So then that makes Teddy realize something's up, and he pretty much gets them both, him and Billy, out of the apartment, and they head to Avengers Mansion to figure out what went wrong and to get some help. And when they talk to the Avengers just take them back to Teddy's mom, who then banishes them to some sort of other dimension, which looks like a basic 9-grid comic book page. And after they get trapped, they're able to get back to the main dimension thanks to Kid Loki. So Kid Loki takes them out, helps them get back, and then he offers to help them, figure out what's wrong and how they can stop it. And then Billy says that, while he was casting the spell that brought Teddy's mom back, he heard someone speak in his guardian word, and that's probably what screwed everything up. So the three boys go to Asgardia, which is now located outside Oklahoma, and they see, and right when they arrive, suddenly Laufey, Loki's father, appears. And right when Laufey appears, Billy just says, "Wait, isn't Laufey dead?" And that's where the issue ends. Okay, Young Avengers. Well, there is finally some interaction between the sort of splinter groups right now for the main members of the team, because first issue the group was pretty much split up into thirds. So there was 1/3 of the story featuring Miss America and Kid Loki, another third featuring Billy and Teddy, and another third featuring Marvel Boy and Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. And also, there is, so now Teddy and Billy are working with Kid Loki, and also there is a reference to what's going on with Kate Bishop, because Billy, when they get to Asgardia, Billy checks his phone, and he says, wait, we've missed several texts from Kate, something about aliens, and he gets cut off right when Laufey appears, and that's what happens. Young Avengers number 2, I gotta say, this isn't really exactly exciting. I mean, just that now Billy and Teddy know that something went wrong when Billy tried to bring back Teddy's mom, and that, she's something else. That's pretty much all really what happens in this. I'm still gonna give this series till the first story arc, but in all honesty, I'm having my doubts that this Young Avengers series could live up to the hype and positive reception of the older ones. So, but I hope it does succeed, and I hope it turns out to be a good story arc. Next up, Uncanny Avengers number 4. The Red Skull continues to cause chaos and has humans killing mutants by abusing Charles Xavier's brain. And also he's trying to convince Captain America to join him. And of course, as we know from last issue, Thor's already brainwashed. But thanks to Scarlet Witch, she's able to get rid of Thor. And when I say get rid of, I mean actually get him far away from the actual battle. And while the Red Skull is trying to brainwash Cap, Rogue absorbs one of the powers of the Red Skull's S-Men, and she's able to shut down the part of the brain where Xavier's powers are coming from. So she's able to stop Red Skull temporarily, but then Skull takes out a gun and shoots her, and it would have been fatal, except he was attacked by Havoc, which, still injured Rogue, but she's not dead. And then the Skull, with his powers back, has Havoc beat Rogue by convincing him that she's the Skull. But while the Skull is trying to control Havoc, Captain America gets back on his feet and decks the Skull with his shield. But unfortunately, the Red Skull gets away by using his the member of his S-Man team that can somehow teleport people through water. And so the Skull gets away, and with the Skull gone, everyone like snaps out of their control, and they start to realize, oh God, what the hell have we done? But then Havoc gives a big speech to everyone saying that they weren't responsible for their actions. They didn't kill anyone. The Skull killed these people, and he says like, but whatever happens next, you're responsible for it. So, and the public is now kind of moving a little bit towards the whole mutant human piece. Because the next day in the Daily Bugle, they say Xavier may be gone, but his dream still lives on. That's the headline, and it's pictures of the Uncanny Avengers helping out after the battle and stuff. And the next day, though, Havoc officially accepts the leadership position for the Uncanny Avengers, or actually the team's official name, according to Captain America, is the Avengers Unity Squad. So, and also Rogue, she's still in the hospital, sort of in the medical ward recovering, and Wanda offers her friendship, but Rogue refuses to accept it because she's only staying on the team for two reasons. It's what Xavier would want, and also to make sure Wanda doesn't hurt anyone anymore. And later, finally Thor talks to Logan, and he tells him that you didn't fail Charles Xavier, because that was the first thing in the opening issue when Logan was giving the eulogy for Xavier. He said they all failed Charles Xavier's dream, but Thor assures him, you didn't fail, you can still make it possible, but this time you're not going to be doing it alone. And that's pretty much ends for the present. The last few pages of this issue reveal what's going to happen in 3 months, and it shows a future that's definitely like Days of Futures Past, except this time, there's Sentinels and mutants on the run, but the ones we follow are Havoc, Scarlet Witch, and Sunfire. They find a cave drawing that was done by Immortus, one of the alternate versions of Kang, and that says that this whole time anomaly business began with the Red Skull, and suddenly it's revealed that the Red Skull is the new Onslaught. And that's where it ends. And that's where the issue ends. I have to say, this was a very good closing act for the first arc. Also, the last few pages were great, really giving me something forward to look through, because, I don't know, the last couple of issues I kind of felt like, okay, I'm still going to give this to the first story arc, but now I'm not so sure. But, well, I got to the end, it convinced me otherwise, so I'm still going to pick up Uncanny Avengers because it's great. I'd say if you're a fan of both the Avengers and the X-Men, this is definitely the series for you. Alright, now it's time for DC Comics, and starting off, this is going to be the last issue of this series I'm going to get for a while. Teen Titans, number 17. Okay. This is supposed to be like a Death in the Family aftermath, but really it's just a prologue to the next story arc. What happens is the Teen Titans minus Superboy return to New York City, where Red Robin shows them their new base, which instead of the penthouse, they're now going to be living on a yacht. And later that night, and after a tour of the ship, Red Robin's like at first standing on the deck. It looks like he's standing on the deck talking to himself, but he's actually talking to Solstice, who he knew was there the whole time. And, they talk, and then he kisses her. Then the next scene then later in his room, Cassie shows up to talk to Tim, and they talk, and next thing we know, Tim's kissing Cassie. And also Raven is apparently in whatever hellish dimension she's currently residing in, is apparently listening in on the whole thing. And the last page implies that Red Robin is possessed. I tried my hardest to try to get into this title, but 17 issues in, and I really should have jumped ship off of this a long time ago. I really should have. I really have not been enjoying the Teen Titans since the New 52. I've kind of realized this for a while, but I've just been saying, it's Teen Titans, you love it, it'll get better, promise. No, it hasn't. I really don't think Scott Lobel is a good fit for this title. I'm not saying that he's a bad writer. I'm just saying that I like his work on I liked his work on Red Hood, and I did like his first few issues of Superman, but this right now, I really am done with Teen Titans until they get a new writer. Okay, until they get like a new writer and stuff. I am done with this. Okay, because I do not want to look for. I don't look forward to the Raven story arc. I don't look forward to involving Trigon. I just want someone new on the title. Okay. So that's it for me. That's it for me with Teen Titans. If you are gonna get pretty much only, and also it's not even a good aftermath issue for Death of the Family. Like, they just mention what happened in Gotham for like maybe two pages. That's it. Next thing we know, boom. And see, and this is why it's the weakest of the Death of the Family, because Tim's stuck sharing this book with the Teen Titans. If he had his own title, we could get more into it, but he doesn't. So we're stuck only getting a few honorable mentions to this, so it doesn't seem like... So you get the impression that, Tim wasn't really affected by what the Joker did during the story arc. So I really think this failed as an aftermath issue. As a prologue, I felt it was kind of weak. So I'm done with this title until someone new takes over. Alright, I got that in my system. The Flash, number 17, the conclusion to the guerrilla warfare story arc. The Flash is, we start off with where we last left off, which is the Flash fighting Gorilla Grodd in the Speed Force. Except since this is even though Grodd is now connected with the Speed Force, the Flash is still the king of the zone. So he's able to make quick work of Gorilla Grodd, and also he discovered that Iris and the other people who were missing from Central City way back in a couple of issues ago are actually in the Speed Force. So he's able to rescue them and also leave Grodd stranded in the Speed Force. And meanwhile, back in Central City, the Rogues and a few members who were able to avoid getting captured by the Guerrillas are able to stop the Guerrillas' barrier around Central City, which lets in the National Guard. Then suddenly some Guerrillas get captured, others are able to make it back to their ships, and some who get back to their ships find Solivar, and they discover that Solivar is still a little bit alive. So they take him back with them to Gorilla City, and that's it for them. And the issue ends with Turbine in the Mirror World talking to the Rogues, with the Rogues offering him a spot on their team. And also Dr. Elias, and also during the story arc, all the batteries that Dr. Elias made, which contained Speed Force energy, were destroyed. But then Dr. Elias goes to his lab and he opens up a hidden compartment which apparently stored some spare batteries. And Barry Allen then gets his death certificate reversed, and then the issue jumps a month ahead, and we get a sneak peek at the new Reverse Flash. Okay, I have to admit, I like the conclusion to Guerrilla Warfare. I mean, I really wasn't enjoying the whole story arc, but I did like the conclusion. And also, it does kind of imply you do get a little bit of chemistry between Flash and Iris, and a little bit with Barry Allen, so that was good. And also, we do get a sneak peek at the Reverse Flash. I don't know who it is, though. I don't know if it's going to be Professor Zoom again. I don't know if they're going to stick with that, but my guess is if they don't use Ebert Thawne, then they're probably going to use Dr. Elias for the new Reverse Flash. That's how I see it. And, well, yeah, and to be fair, the Flash has its ups and downs, but in the end, the conclusion to this Guerrilla Warfare story arc was a little satisfying. So I'd say if you've been reading this story arc, then you should get the conclusion, then decide from here whether you want to continue with the Reverse Flash story arc. Because I personally do, because Reverse Flash is one of my favorite villains. Okay, next up, Aquaman, number 17. This is the epilogue to Thrones of Atlantis. Aquaman, the issue opens up with Aquaman leading some Atlantean soldiers to stop some illegal whaling, and they also help out some activists who are also trying to stop the whaling. But after the fight's over, Aquaman still discovers that there's still tension between the Atlanteans and the humans, and later Cyborg contacts Aquaman and says that Waller needs to speak to him. And so Aquaman goes to DC and meets with Amanda Waller, who tells him that people have been salvaging some of the Atlantean weapons used during the attack on Boston, and they've been selling them on the black market. And also, most of the world still refuses to recognize Atlantis as a nation and Arthur as its king. And she also mentions what's going on with Orm's trial. And so Aquaman, after his discussion with Waller, decides that it's time for him to stop talking to try to fix things and instead act. So he now makes it his new goal to prove that Atlantis has some intentions to help the surface people, even if he has to do it without Mera. And he mentions to Waller that Mera won't be joining him. So after Aquaman leaves, Waller takes out her phone and calls some people and says that, if you want to make your move on Mera, go ahead. And it cuts to the small town outside of the lighthouse where Arthur and Mera were staying, and suddenly some cops show up and they say, and they ask Mera to come with them and not to make a scene like what happened last time. And that's where it ends for Mera. Then later we have Aquaman in the ocean, and he pretty much apologizes to the fish, where it's kind of like a scene where it's like, Waller also, before he left, Waller asked Aquaman, look, everyone on the surface hates you, your own people don't respect you, why are you doing this? And it's revealed that Aquaman is really caring for the fish. And he pretty much sends out like a telepathic message saying that, he's the king of the sea, he's not going to let anything happen to them ever again. And then on the last page we cut to pretty much Arthur's telepathic message reaching Antarctica, and suddenly someone hears it and says that King of the Seas, I think not. And that's where the issue ends. Okay, good epilogue for what happened. I think this is a good epilogue for what happened with Runs of Atlantis. Also, if you've read this story arc throughout Justice League and Aquaman, then I would recommend you pick this up. It's not required, but if you've been curious about what's going on with Aquaman after the story arc was done, because technically the epilogue for the Justice League series was probably Justice League of America. But if you were curious about what happened to Aquaman after he left Mera, then I would say you should pick this up because it does give you some insight about what's going on there. Also, if you did read The Runs of Atlantis and you want to pick up Aquaman, this is a good jumping on point for you. Okay, this is if you've been avoiding Aquaman and you want to start reading it, this is your jump on point. Okay. Okay, and my last comic, funny story. I had to get digitally because it was sold out in almost every comic book store I went to. Sorry about that, the camera died. I had to replace the battery again. Okay, like I said, as I was saying before, I got this last comic. The last comic I got, I had to get digitally because it was sold out everywhere. Mainly because it was spoiled, and ironically enough, when it was spoiled, I wanted to get it just to see in detail what happened. It is Batman Incorporated, number 8. This is the death of Damian Wayne. What happens is, I haven't been reading Batman Incorporated, the second volume. I am planning on getting Grant Morrison's issues when they come out in trade. The first volume comes out in May. Anyways, back to the issue. Nightwing, Red Robin, and Robin begin their assault on the Leviathan organization, which is currently occupying Wayne Towers. And while they're beginning their assault, Batman's still trying to escape from this safe, which he's trapped in on the roof of the building. And when the Robins get in, Damian and Nightwing have a moment where Damian says like, you're the best partner I've ever had, and it's kind of like a real cool bro moment between the two, and then right when they get through and head to the elevator, they're stopped by this adult clone of Damian that Talia made called the Heretic, and first the Heretic throws Nightwing and knocks him out, but he throws him into some display cases. Then Damian takes on the Heretic by himself, but unfortunately it's too much for him, and the Heretic stabs him in the sword just as Batman escapes the safe, and he heads down to the lobby of the building. And when I mean heads down, he just gets out of the safe, jumps onto one of Talia's Man-Bat, and just dives right down into the lobby, and by the time he gets there, he's too late, and the issue ends with Batman holding the body of his son. All I can say is that I really, like I said, I haven't read everything leading up to it with the second volume of Batman Inc., but I did get a rough idea from what people have said from other reviews and what everyone's been saying, and pretty much the build-up was that pretty much Batman and Talia were sort of arguing over Damian's future or something, and their fight eventually got in the way that pretty much they were too much at each other's throats, that basically Damian died, and it was a good death. All right, I'm saying that right now. Damian's death was a good death. It didn't feel like when I was reading it. It didn't feel like they were just doing this for shock value. It felt like it really was planned by Grant Morrison, which was good. And also, I am a little sad that Damian has to go. I really am, because he started off as this sort of as the spoiled grandson of Ra's al Ghul, but eventually he grew up as he kept making further appearances, and eventually though he does kind of like, he even has a moment where I think that Batman would be proud of him, was like when he's fighting the Heretic. He even says that, "I promised my father I would never kill," and that was like a moment for me where I thought, okay, well, obviously he's been learning a lot from Bruce, but overall it still sucks that Damian had to go, because the kid was kind of growing on me a little. I'm gonna do an in-depth review of Batman Inc. number 8 on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. So check that out when I get the chance to upload it. I'll probably go into more details about the issue. Maybe I should even keep my iPad out and just read it while I'm filming the in-depth review. Yeah, that could help. So that's it. Okay, that's it for my... Oh, crap, I just closed out the comic. Wait. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my reviews this week. Quick recap. Batman Inc. number 8. Damian Wayne goes down fighting. Good death, not just for shock value. Really sad to see the kid go. Aquaman number 17. The prologue to Throne of Atlantis. Can't wait to read what's next for Arthur as the new king. Also, want to know who picked up his message to the fish. Flash number 17. The end to guerrilla warfare ends with Flash leaving Grodd stranded in the Speed Force. Also, can't wait to see what happens next with the Reverse Flash. Teen Titans number 17. I am done with this series. I can't take it anymore. I want a new writer on this. Once there's a new writer, I'll start getting this again. Until then, it's gone. Uncanny Avengers number 4. This issue pretty much saved the series for me. Good ending. Also a little tease about what's going to happen next. Can't wait to read it. And Young Avengers number 2. Not exactly as big as the opener was. Really kind of a weak progression, but hopefully Carrie and Gillen can pull it all together. And that's it for now. For my review, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. Spider-Man 1991, and see you later.